The planet Carthon shined cold and blue under its twin moons. It was a world of order and beauty, where every living thing was designed to look perfect. The Carthon race believed that flawless shape meant flawless mind. Their children were tested the moment they were born. If they looked perfect, they were accepted. If not, they were erased from history. On a silent night inside the shining birthing chamber of the central gene hall, a child was born. But when the doctors saw him, they froze. His skin was rough, not smooth like other Carthons. His eyes were uneven in color, one bright silver, one dull gray. And his face. It did not fit their image of beauty. The leader of the chamber whispered, "Another defect." The others nodded. To them, this was not a child. It was a mistake, the mother cried, begging, "Please, he's still my son." But the guards dragged her away as the council's order came through. "Terminate the specimen immediately." The baby cried weakly, not knowing that his first breath in this world might also be his last. At that same moment, far above the planet, a human research ship orbited Carthon. The humans had come to build peace and trade with this proud alien race. On board was Dr. Evelyn Park, a human xenobiologist who studied alien genetics. She was kind, curious, and believed that every form of life had value. Her ship's sensors suddenly picked up a strange signal, a genetic anomaly in the gene hall below. Curious, she connected to the Carthon medical feed and saw what no one was supposed to see. A crying infant surrounded by soldiers with weapons ready. Her heart froze. "What are they doing?" she whispered. The alien officer beside her looked uncomfortable. "Their law demands purity. That child is not perfect." Evelyn couldn't believe it. "So they'll kill him? For being born different?" The officer stayed silent. Evelyn stood up. "No, not while I'm here. Without permission." She ran to the ship's shuttle bay. Minutes later, alarms echoed through the gene hall as a human shuttle broke through the clouds and landed near the building. The guards aimed their plasma rifles, shouting in their alien language. But Evelyn didn't stop. She ran through the smoke, holding a small energy shield, her eyes fixed on the crying baby inside the glass cradle. "Stop! You can't take him!" shouted a Carthon officer. "I'm not asking," Evelyn said firmly. She broke the glass, wrapped the trembling child in her coat, and held him close. "You'll live, little one," she whispered. The guards fired, but the human shuttle's defense shield blocked the blasts. Evelyn jumped back into the ship as it took off into the sky. The last thing she saw before leaving Carthon's atmosphere was the council building. Cold, silver, and heartless. Back on her ship, Evelyn placed the baby in a medical pod. He looked fragile, but his eyes stared at her with strange intelligence. One silver eye glowed softly. She smiled through tears. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." When the commander of the mission found out, he was furious. "You broke interplanetary law. You stole a Carthon specimen." "He's not a specimen," Evelyn said coldly. "He's a child. His name is Zaru," the commander sighed. "You've just started a war, Doctor." Years passed. The Carthon Council issued a declaration. The human known as Evelyn Park has committed genetic theft and defied the natural order. The abomination must be found and destroyed. But Earth refused to surrender the child. He was hidden deep within a research colony, a secret place called Haven 9, far from the eyes of aliens. Zaru grew under human care. Evelyn became his mother in all but blood. She taught him human words, human laughter, and human kindness. Yet even as a toddler, Zaru knew he was different. His skin shimmered faintly under light. His touch made machines hum. One night, Evelyn sat by his bed as he slept. She looked at his small hands and whispered, "They called you ugly, but I see something beautiful." As she turned to leave, the room lights flickered on their own. For a moment, the shadows on the wall formed wings behind the sleeping child. Evelyn froze, heart racing. "What are you, little one?" she whispered. Far away, in the dark space between stars, the Carthon High Council gathered. The Supreme Elder stared at a glowing hologram, the faint trace of a strange energy signal coming from Earth's direction. "After all these years," he said softly, "the abomination still lives." The others murmured in anger. "We must end this," said another elder. "If he grows, if he learns, our people may never be the same." The Supreme Elder nodded. "Prepare the hunters." The stars outside the council window flickered red, the color of war. Meanwhile, on Earth, Evelyn watched the sunrise with Zaru sitting beside her. He looked at the sky filled with colors he didn't understand. "Mom," he asked, "why do I look different?" Evelyn took a deep breath. "Because the universe wanted you that way." Zaru smiled faintly, though he didn't understand her words. Above them, unseen, a shadow moved through the upper atmosphere, a small Carthon probe scanning the Earth. Its sensors locked onto Zaru's unique energy pattern. Then, silently, it sent a signal back into the stars. Target found. The years passed like wind across metal cities. On the far edge of the solar system, hidden beneath the icy clouds of Haven 9, a small human colony thrived in silence. It was built for science and peace, and it was here that Zaru, the child once rejected by the alien world Carthon, grew up under the care of Dr. Evelyn Park. The people of Haven 9 knew little about him. They saw him only from afar, a boy with strange gray-blue skin, glowing veins, and silver eyes that seemed to look through walls. To most he was a secret. To Evelyn he was her son. Every morning Zaru helped Evelyn in her lab. He was quick, curious, and loved learning how human machines worked. When he touched them, they sometimes hummed and flickered with light. Evelyn didn't understand why, but she never told him to stop. "Machines like you?" she would say with a smile. "Maybe they remember me," he would reply softly. Though he was happy with Evelyn, Zaru could feel something heavy inside, a space he could not fill. When other children visited Haven 9 from Earth, they stared at him. Some whispered that he looked like a monster. Others ran away in fear. That night, Zaru asked Evelyn, "Why do they look at me like that?" Evelyn sighed. "Because you are different, my son." "But different doesn't mean bad." Zaru looked down. "Then why do I feel alone?" She hugged him close. "Because the world doesn't understand you yet. But one day, it will." As he grew older, strange things began to happen around him. When he felt angry, lights flickered and air vibrated. When he cried, water from the air gathered into tiny floating drops. One evening, during a heavy storm outside the colony dome, Zaru looked out at the lightning flashing across the dark sky. He raised his hand, and the lightning seemed to pause for a heartbeat as if listening to him. Evelyn saw it from the window and froze. "Zaru," she whispered, "what did you just do?" He looked scared. I didn't mean to." Evelyn rushed to him. "It's okay. Don't be afraid. Just tell me when it happens." He nodded, trembling. Inside her heart, Evelyn knew Zaru was becoming something neither human nor alien could explain. Years later, when Zaru turned 16, he began asking questions about his past. "Where did I come from?" he asked one night. "You always say I was born far away. What does that mean?" Evelyn hesitated. She had kept the truth hidden for so long, hoping to protect him. But now, looking into his sharp silver eyes, she realized he deserved to know. She took out an old holopad from a sealed box. It glowed softly, showing the image of a cold blue planet. "This is Carthon," she said. "It's where you were born." Zaru stared at the image. The cities looked tall and perfect, like blades of light. "Why did we leave?" he asked. Evelyn's voice broke. "Because they didn't want you, Zaru. They said you were too ugly. But I saw something beautiful. I saw life where they saw a mistake." He sat in silence, the truth heavy on his heart. For the first time, he felt the weight of two worlds pressing down on him. "So, I'm not human?" "You are what you choose to be," she said softly. That night, Zaru couldn't sleep. He went outside into the open field beyond the colony lights. The sky was full of stars, silent and endless. He stared at them for a long time. "Why did you make me like this?" he whispered. And then, a voice answered. It was soft, deep, and echoing inside his mind. "Because you were never meant to be one of them." Zaru gasped, looking around. "Who's there?" There was no one. Only the wind, but the voice came again. "Your blood remembers what you are. One day you will return to the stars." He ran back to the colony, heart racing. Evelyn found him shaking. "What happened?" she asked. "I heard someone," he said, eyes wide. "It spoke inside my head." Evelyn looked alarmed but calm. "Maybe it was a dream." Zaru shook his head. "No, it knew me." Evelyn looked out the window into the black sky. She didn't tell him, but she had feared this day. The Carthons were known for psychic resonance. A mental signal passed through bloodlines. If Zaru was hearing voices, it meant something from his homeworld was reaching out. Days later, Evelyn ran secret tests. The results terrified her. Zaru's body was changing, his cells pulsing with energy unknown to human science. His DNA showed patterns not found in any species ever recorded. It was like something inside him was waking up. She wrote in her log, "Zaru's energy levels rise with emotion. He may not be just a hybrid. He may be the beginning of something entirely new." But before she could study more, the alarms blared across Haven 9. "Unauthorized signal detected," said the computer. "Tracking source, deep space." Evelyn's heart dropped. She opened the radar feed and saw a red dot moving toward the solar system. The transmission carried a single message: "Return the abomination." That night, Zaru stood with Evelyn on the observation deck. He didn't know about the message. He only saw stars, the same ones that called to him in his dreams. "I feel like something's coming," he said quietly. Evelyn nodded, hiding her fear. "Maybe destiny." He smiled faintly. "Then I'll face it." Above them, beyond human sight, a dark ship slipped silently into orbit. Its scanners locked onto the colony's hidden energy field, and to one single heartbeat glowing brighter than any star. Night never truly came on Haven 9, only endless silver clouds and the pale glow of the twin moons above. Inside the lab dome, Dr. Evelyn Park watched her screens flicker with strange readings. The data made no sense. The more she studied Zaru, the less human he seemed, and the less alien too. His energy levels were climbing every day, rising far beyond safe limits. Sometimes machines would hum when he entered the room. Metal tools would bend slightly toward him, as if drawn by invisible gravity. And yet when she looked at him, she still saw the same quiet boy who liked to sit by the window and draw the stars. That evening, Zaru sat alone in the garden dome. The air smelled of metal and fresh oxygen. Artificial birds chirped softly. He touched a flower petal and it glowed faintly beneath his fingers, alive with blue light. He whispered, "Why do things change when I touch them?" Behind him, Evelyn answered gently, "Because you are connected to something greater, something older than even we understand." Zaru turned to her, confused. "Older than humans?" "Older than Carthons," she said. "Older than this galaxy," Zaru frowned. "What does that mean?" Evelyn hesitated. She knew the truth could destroy his peace, but lies could destroy his trust. "Zaru," she said softly, "your body carries something ancient. When I studied your DNA, I found patterns that match no living species. It's almost as if, you were built, not born." Zaru's heart pounded. "Built like a machine?"
"No, like a vessel," she whispered.
"A vessel for energy." He didn't speak for a long time. The wind moved through the trees. Somewhere thunder rolled beyond the dome. "So that's why I can hear voices," he said finally. Evelyn's eyes widened. "You heard them again?" He nodded. "They keep calling me, telling me to come home." Evelyn's stomach turned cold. She knew it. The Carthons had found him. She grabbed his hand. "Zaru, listen to me. You are not a weapon. You are not what they made you for. Promise me you'll remember that." He looked into her eyes. "What did they make me for?" Before she could answer, the lab lights flickered, then went dark. The power grid had failed. A low hum filled the air, not from inside but outside the colony. Evelyn ran to the window. A red glow shimmered in the clouds. "No," she whispered. "They're here." A Carthon warship descended silently through the storm, its hull black and curved like a blade. Its energy beams cut through the clouds, scanning the colony. The people of Haven 9 panicked, running for shelters. Evelyn pulled Zaru toward the underground tunnels. "Stay close to me," she shouted, but the ship fired, not to destroy but to disable. A blue pulse of energy struck the ground near them. The air twisted and screamed. Evelyn fell, her vision blurring. Zaru reached for her, shouting, "Mom!" The world around him slowed. Sound vanished. Every drop of rain hung still in the air. His skin glowed brighter than ever before, silver lines spreading across his arms and face like veins of light. A deep voice echoed inside his mind. "You cannot hide from what you are, child of the core." Zaru's heart pounded. "Who are you?" "We are your origin. Your blood carries the memory of the first energy. You were meant to bring it back." "I don't want to hurt anyone," he cried. "You were not made to hurt. You were made to awaken." The light around him exploded. Every machine within 100 meters shut down. The Carthon ship froze mid-air, engines flickering out. Then everything went silent again. When Zaru opened his eyes, he was on the ground. The colony was dark. Evelyn lay beside him, breathing but unconscious. He looked around, and every light in Haven 9 had gone out. The entire base was dead. "What did I do?" he whispered. From the shadows, a tall figure stepped forward. A human soldier, but his armor carried Carthan symbols. His voice was calm, cold. "So it's true." "The hybrid lives," Zaru stood, shaking. "Who are you?" The soldier removed his helmet. His skin was gray-blue like Zaru's, but his eyes were pure black. "I am Commander Relic of the Carthon Guard, and you, creature, are coming with me." Zaru clenched his fists. "I'm not going anywhere," Relic smiled. "You don't have a choice. Your body belongs to the Council. You are their creation." Zaru's energy flickered again. "I belong to no one." The air trembled. The soldier aimed his plasma weapon, but before he could fire, Zaru's eyes flared bright white. The weapon shattered. Relic stepped back, shocked. "Impossible." Zaru's voice deepened, mixed with something not entirely human. "Tell your masters. I'm done running." The Carthon ship, still hovering above, began to power up again, but its sensors went wild. The energy inside Zaru's body was beyond anything recorded. The ship's AI spoke in a panicked tone. "Unstable energy detected. Recommend immediate retreat." Relic retreated toward the shuttle, glaring. "This isn't over, Abomination. The Council will come for you." Then he vanished into the storm. Evelyn slowly regained consciousness. "Zaru," she whispered weakly. "What happened?" He knelt beside her, tears in his eyes. "They know I'm here." "They'll come again," she touched his face. "Then we run. There's a safe zone near Mars, we can hide there." But Zaru shook his head. "No, Mom, running won't stop them. I need to know what I am. Why I was made. What this power means." Evelyn looked at him. No longer a frightened boy, but someone changing into something far greater. "Promise me one thing," she said. "Whatever you find, don't lose your heart." Zaru nodded. "I promise." As they left the ruins of Haven 9, the colony lights flickered one last time, powered not by machines, but by the echo of Zaru's energy. Far beyond, inside the Carthon High Council chamber, the Supreme Elder stared at the readings. "He has awakened," the Elder said. Another asked fearfully, "What if he remembers who he truly is?" The Supreme Elder's eyes narrowed. "Then the galaxy will never belong to us again." The stars looked calm, but war was already whispering between them. After the attack on Haven 9, Dr. Evelyn Park and Zaru fled across the solar routes in a small human cargo ship. They had no army, no allies, only a single goal: survive. Every station, every signal could be a trap. The Carthon Empire had declared Zaru a danger to existence. Inside the ship, Evelyn stared at the radar. "No pursuers so far," she said quietly. Zaru sat near the window, watching the stars blur into white lines. His eyes glowed faintly silver. "They'll come," he said. "They always do." Evelyn looked at him sadly. "Then we keep moving. You're stronger now, but you're still my son." He smiled softly. "And you're still the only reason I fight." For days, silence ruled the ship. Zaru spent hours meditating, trying to understand the strange energy inside him. He could feel it pulsing, alive, restless, like a second heartbeat. Sometimes he heard voices again. Not one this time, but many. "Return to the source. You were made for balance. Do not resist your design." Zaru pressed his hands over his ears. "Stop!" he shouted, but the voices only echoed louder inside his skull. The ship's lights flickered. Evelyn ran in. "Zaru, what's wrong?" "I can't control it," he gasped. "It's like something inside me wants out." Evelyn held his face, forcing him to look at her. "Listen to me. You're not a weapon. You're my child. You choose who you are, not them." Her words steadied him. The light in his eyes faded, but deep inside he knew the truth. Something powerful was awakening, and it was only a matter of time before it broke free. A week later, just as they reached the outer rim of Mars, alarms screamed across the cockpit. Evelyn froze. Multiple signals. Carthon signatures. Before Zaru could react, space twisted open in front of them. 3 black Carthon interceptors burst from warp. Zaru's eyes widened. "They found us." The first shot hit their right engine. The ship spun violently. Evelyn fought for control, but the systems were failing fast. "Hold on," she shouted. Zaru grabbed her hand. If they take me, they'll kill you. Evelyn shook her head. Then they'll have to kill us both. The ship broke apart as it entered Mars's upper atmosphere. Fire lit the sky. Pieces of metal scattered across the red dunes. When the dust cleared, Zaru crawled out of the wreckage, coughing. "Mom!" he yelled. No answer. He searched the wreck until he found Evelyn trapped under metal debris. She was breathing, but barely. "Zaru," she whispered weakly. "Run. I'm not leaving you." But before he could lift her, a sharp voice cut through the wind. "Step away from the human, abomination." Zaru turned. A squad of armored Carthon soldiers stood behind him, their weapons glowing. Leading them was Commander Relek, the same man who had escaped Haven 9. He smiled coldly. "You've caused enough chaos." Zaru clenched his fists. "You'll have to kill me first." Relek raised a weapon. "Gladly." But before he could fire, a small explosion went off near the rocks. Smoke filled the air. From the haze, a figure leaped forward. Another Carthon soldier, but this one attacked Relek's squad. In seconds, 2 soldiers fell. The mysterious fighter moved fast, precise like lightning in motion. When the smoke cleared, Zaru saw her, a young Carthon woman, armor cracked, eyes glowing violet. "Come with me if you want to live," she said. Zaru hesitated, but then saw more enemy ships landing nearby. He lifted Evelyn carefully. "Can you help her?" The woman nodded. "Hurry!" They ran across the dunes toward a hidden cave entrance. Inside was a small hovercraft buried under sand. The woman activated it and sealed the entrance just as laser blasts struck outside. Zaru placed Evelyn on the floor, still unconscious. "Who are you?" he demanded. "My name is Lyra," she said, removing her helmet. "I was a soldier once, until I learned the truth about what they did to you." "The truth?" Lyra's eyes softened. "You are not a mistake, Zaru. You were their greatest project, a fusion of life energy and matter. The Council feared what you might become. They called you ugly because they saw what they hated most, imperfection that could evolve beyond them." Zaru looked away, shocked. "Then I'm really their creation?" Lyra nodded. "But they failed. You're more than their design. You're alive." He sat down, holding Evelyn's hand. "They destroyed my home. They hunted me." "Why tell me this now?" "Because," Lyra said quietly, "I was ordered to kill you. And I couldn't." Silence filled the cave. Outside, thunder rolled across the Martian sky. Zaru looked at her closely. "Why help me?" "Because I've seen your dreams," she said. "Your energy echoes across the stars. When you reached out that night on Haven 9, I heard you. You didn't cry for revenge. You cried for peace." Zaru's chest tightened. "You can hear my thoughts?" "Only when you're afraid," Lyra said softly. "And right now you're terrified." He looked down. "They'll never stop coming." She smiled sadly. "Then maybe it's time you stop running." Zaru met her eyes, and for the first time he saw no fear, no disgust. Just understanding. Hours later, Lyra helped Evelyn rest inside a medical pod powered by old Carthon tech. Zaru sat beside her, exhausted but hopeful. "She'll live," Lyra said. "Her injuries aren't deep." "Thank you," Zaru whispered. Lyra stared at him. "You know you don't look ugly to me." He smiled faintly. "You're the first to say that." "Maybe I'm the first who can see what's really there," she replied. But outside, in the cold darkness of orbit, the Carthon fleet was gathering again. Commander Relek stood on the bridge of his ship watching the planet below. "The hybrid escaped," his officer reported. Relek's eyes burned with hatred. "Let him run. We've already marked his signal. Soon there will be nowhere in the galaxy he can hide." The ship turned toward Mars, weapons charging. The red deserts of Mars stretched endlessly beneath the burning sky. For days, Zaru, Evelyn, and Lyra hid inside the ancient cave, surrounded by silence and dust. The outside world believed Mars was dead, but deep under its surface, something old and alive was sleeping. Something waiting. Evelyn rested in the medical pod, her breathing stable now. Lyra kept guard near the entrance, scanning for movement. Zaru sat near the wall, staring at the strange carvings glowing faintly under his touch. "These symbols," he whispered, "they're not human. And not Carthon either." Lyra turned. "How do you know that?" "I don't know," he said softly. "It's like my hands remember what my mind doesn't." When his fingers traced the glowing lines, the walls began to move. Dust fell as hidden doors slid open, revealing a deep tunnel. From inside came a low humming sound, ancient, rhythmic, alive. Evelyn woke with a weak smile. "Zaru, what is that?" He looked back at her. "Something calling me." Lyra aimed her weapon nervously. "Are you sure it's safe?" Zaru stepped forward, his silver eyes shining brighter. "No, but I have to go." Evelyn reached out and caught his hand. "Be careful. Whatever you find down there, it might change everything." He nodded gently. "Then it's time I learn what I was meant to be." The tunnel led them deep below the surface, through halls of metal older than any known civilization. Strange machines hummed softly as they passed him, as if recognizing Zaru's presence. Lyra whispered, "This technology, it's not Carthon. It's beyond us." Zaru stopped at a large circular chamber at the end of the passage. In the center stood a crystal sphere floating above a broken pedestal. It glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. The walls around them flickered with light, forming holographic images, worlds rising and falling, stars exploding, beings made of light and energy walking among the galaxies. Zaru felt his knees weaken. "I've seen this in my dreams," Evelyn stared in awe. This might be the source. The original energy your body connects to." Lyra whispered, "The core of creation." Zaru approached the sphere slowly. As his hand hovered near it, the chamber trembled. A deep voice filled the air, the same one that had haunted his dreams. "Child of the core, you have finally come home." Zaru's heart raced. "Who are you?" "We are the first ones, the architects of life. Long before Carthons or humans, we built balance from chaos. You were made from our spark, hidden in flesh so the universe could start again." Zaru stepped back. "Start again? What does that mean?" "The galaxies have forgotten harmony. The powerful enslave the weak. The beautiful destroy the different. You were shaped to restore what they broke." Lyra looked terrified. "They made him to fix the universe?" Evelyn whispered. "No, to recreate it." The voice continued, echoing through their minds. "Your design was rejected by the Carthons, but they never knew the truth. Your so-called imperfection is evolution itself." Zaru's hands glowed brighter. His energy flared, swirling like living light. "If I have this power, then why does it hurt? Because power without purpose is pain. You must choose what kind of world you will create." Suddenly the walls shook violently. Alarm screamed. Lyra's scanner blinked red. "Carthon fleet inbound," she shouted. "They found us." Evelyn panicked. "How?" Lyra cursed. "Relic must have tracked our energy signature." Zaru turned toward the sphere. The light inside it pulsed faster, reacting to his fear. "Then it's time to stop running," he said. He placed both hands on the sphere. The chamber exploded with blinding light. Symbols raced across the walls. The machines came alive, humming with power. Lyra shielded her eyes. "Zaru, what are you doing?" "I'm unlocking it," he said through the noise. "The power they tried to hide from me." The ground split open. Energy spiraled around him, forming wings of light. His body rose into the air, surrounded by pure creation energy. For a moment he saw everything. Earth, Carthon, and hundreds of worlds screaming in silence. He whispered, "So much pain, so much hate." Evelyn shouted, "Zaru, stop! You're burning yourself." But he couldn't hear. The energy poured through him, rewriting everything it touched. Then suddenly, he saw something. A vision of two armies in space, humans and Carthons, ready for war. Both would die unless he stopped them. He gasped and released the sphere. The energy died instantly, leaving silence behind. Smoke rose from the floor. Zaru fell to his knees, trembling. His veins glowed faintly, but the light inside the chamber dimmed again. Evelyn rushed to him. "Zaru, are you hurt?" He opened his eyes slowly. "No, but I saw the future. If I don't stop them, everyone dies." Lyra helped him stand. "Then we stopped them together." Evelyn nodded weakly. "You can't face the fleet alone." Zaru looked at both of them, determination burning in his silver eyes. "I'm not the child they rejected anymore. I'm something they can't control." High above Mars in orbit, Commander Relic received the energy readings from the planet's surface. His crew panicked. "Commander, the core has been activated." Relic stared at the screen. "Then it's true. The hybrid has found the ruins." Another officer asked, "What do we do?" Relic clenched his fists. "Prepare the main fleet. We end this now." Back in the cave, Zaru looked at the now dark crystal sphere. He could still feel its pulse inside him, faint but alive. Lyra stepped closer. You said you saw the future. What else did you see? Zaru looked out at the sky through a crack in the cave ceiling. I saw fire. I saw humans and Carthons killing each other. And I saw myself standing between them. Evelyn touched his shoulder. Then you know what you must do. Zaru nodded. I'll make them see. I'll make them understand that strength isn't in perfection. It's in mercy. Lyra smiled faintly. They won't listen easily. Zaru turned toward her. Then we'll make them listen. Outside, the red sky shimmered as the shadow of the Carthon fleet grew larger. The sky above Mars turned black. From the heavens, two mighty fleets approached, the Carthon armada from one side, and the human defense force from the other. Hundreds of ships filled the void, their engines burning like twin suns. Between them floated the silent red planet, glowing faintly under the coming storm. In the caves below, Zaru, Evelyn, and Lyra watched the radar screens flash red and blue. Lyra whispered, They're both here. Humans and Carthons. The war you saw in your vision, it's happening now. Evelyn's voice trembled. They'll destroy each other. There'll be nothing left. Zaru stood quietly. His silver eyes reflected the flickering light. Then I'll stop them. Lyra grabbed his arm. You can't face both sides. They'll kill you. Zaru looked at her, calm and certain. If I don't try, they'll kill everyone else. He stepped out of the cave into the burning wind. The sand whipped around him like waves of fire. Evelyn called after him, Zaru, please. He turned, smiling softly. You once told me different doesn't mean bad. Maybe it's time the galaxy learned that too. And then, with a flash of silver light, he rose from the ground. His body shimmered, the energy inside him pulsing like a star being born. Lyra watched in awe. He's becoming something else, Evelyn whispered, tears in her eyes. He always was. High above, inside the Carthon flagship, Commander Relic stood before the war window, watching the human fleet take position. They dare stand between us and destiny, he said coldly. His officer replied, Their leader, General Harlow, demands you hand over the hybrid peacefully. Relic laughed bitterly. Peace with humans? They stole our creation. They corrupted him. Another officer shouted, Commander, new reading detected. Massive energy signature rising from the planet. Relic's smile faded. Show me. The screen displayed a figure ascending through the Martian clouds, a figure surrounded by spirals of light and fire. Relic stepped closer, disbelief in his voice. It can't be. Zaru broke through the atmosphere, his energy trailing behind like wings made of lightning. His body glowed brighter than the sun, his skin rippling with silver and blue light. The human fleet opened a comm channel. Unidentified being, said General Harlow. Identify yourself. Zaru's voice echoed across both fleets. I am the one you both fear. I am Zaru of Earth, and of Carthon. Gasps filled both sides. He continued. You've called me ugly, abomination, mistake. But I am the mirror of everything you've done. Your hate made me. Your fear shaped me. And now I choose what I become. The Carthon ships began charging their weapons. Relic's voice thundered over the speakers. You are no god, creature. You are a flaw we will erase. Zaru closed his eyes. If I am a flaw, then maybe the universe needs imperfection to heal. He raised his hands. Energy burst from his body, forming a shield between the two fleets. Missiles and plasma beams crashed into it and vanished like dust in sunlight. General Harlow watched in shock. He's protecting both sides. Relic snarled. Enough! He ordered his main cannon to fire. The blast struck Zaru directly. The energy engulfed him, brighter than anything seen before. Lyra, watching from below, screamed, Zaru! For a moment, the galaxy went silent. Then the light cleared, and Zaru still floated there untouched. His body was no longer just flesh. It was light, energy, and something beyond life. He looked at the Carthon flagship and spoke, his voice now carrying through every mind across both fleets. Commander Relic, you serve a council that fears the future. But the future is already here. Relic shouted, You think you can judge us? You're a freak born from our mistake. Zaru shook his head slowly. You made me to control power, but you forgot the heart that came with it. He spread his arms and beams of light burst outward, connecting to every ship in orbit. In that instant, humans and Carthons alike felt what Zaru felt. Every memory, every pain, every kindness Evelyn ever showed him. Soldiers dropped their weapons. Pilots wept. For a moment, both species shared the same heartbeat. Relic clutched his chest, overwhelmed by the flood of emotion. What are you doing?" Zaru's voice was calm. "I'm reminding you what you forgot. Mercy." But the Carthon Council, watching from across space, panicked. They sent a command to Relic's ship. Activate the Oblivion Protocol. The flagship began glowing red, its core preparing to explode. Relic shouted, "They've ordered me to destroy you, even if it means destroying us all." Zaru's eyes widened. "No!" He flew toward the ship, energy trailing behind him. "There's another way!" Relic aimed his weapon. "You'll never stop it." Zaru placed his hands on the ship's hull. His light spread across the metal, crawling through every circuit. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Then I'll carry it." The ship exploded, but silently. The fire froze in place, then folded inward, vanishing into a sphere of white light. Evelyn and Lyra watched from Mars as the explosion condensed into Zaru's body. Lyra gasped. "He absorbed it." Evelyn fell to her knees. "He's taking the power inside him. To save them all." In space, the fleets floated in stunned silence. Zaru hovered among them, glowing brighter than ever. His voice filled every ship. No more war. No more hate. If the universe must change, it starts now. With us. Then, in one final burst of light, the weapons of both fleets melted into harmless dust. The stars reflected in Zaru's shining eyes. He looked at Earth, then at the distant Carthon world. "You once called me ugly," he said softly. "Now look at what your hate created, not a monster, but hope." The fleet slowly began to retreat. The war was over, but Zaru floated still, his body flickering, fading. Evelyn's voice came through the comm link crying, "Zaru, come home." "Please," he smiled faintly. "I will, just not yet." He looked toward the stars one last time. There's still more to fix. And then, he vanished into light, leaving behind only silence and peace. The wars of men and aliens became stories, and stories became myths. The name Zaru faded into legend, a whisper carried by the stars. Some called him the hybrid, others the lightbringer, and in ancient human texts he became known as the ugly god. The one who sacrificed everything to bring peace between worlds. But legends have a strange way of returning, when the galaxy forgets why they were born. It was the year 4589. Humanity had spread across hundreds of systems. The Carthons, once proud and cruel, now lived beside humans in uneasy peace. Yet peace, like glass, can break with time. On the planet Elira Prime, a new war was brewing, this time between humans themselves. Corporations ruled like kings. Machines fought for profit. The word ugly was once again used, not for monsters, but for anyone who looked or thought differently. In the cold rain of a forgotten city, a young girl named Mira scavenged old ruins for metal scraps. She was small, thin, and her face carried scars from the acid storms. The others mocked her, calling her broken. But Mira didn't care. She believed in something else. Old stories her grandmother used to tell her. Stories of a being made of light. A being who saved the galaxy from itself. One night, while hiding from raiders, Mira stumbled upon a deep underground chamber. The walls were ancient, carved with glowing symbols no one had seen for centuries. At the center stood a broken crystal pedestal, cracked but still faintly pulsing. Mira touched it. The light flared, blinding white. She stumbled back, terrified, but then a soft voice filled the room. "Do not be afraid, child," Mira froze. "Who said that?" "You called..." And I heard. From the pedestal rose a faint figure of light, tall, glowing, yet gentle. It had no clear face, only a soft outline, but its voice carried warmth. Mira whispered, "Are you the one from the stories? The ugly god?" The figure paused, then smiled faintly. "If that is what they call me now, then yes, I am Zaru." The air shimmered around them. The chamber walls replayed memories like living screens, scenes of the past. Zaru standing between fleets, saving worlds, fading into light. Mira watched in awe. "You're real. You were human, and Carthon. And more than both," he said softly. "But time forgot what I was and only remembered what I looked like." She stepped closer. "Why did you come back?" because peace built on fear never lasts. Your world walks the same path again. Hate has returned, just wearing a new mask. Mira's eyes filled with tears. I'm just one person. What can I do? You can begin again, said Zaru. That is how I began. One act of kindness in a cruel world. He touched her forehead gently. Light flowed through her veins like silver fire. For a moment she felt everything. The stars, the wind, the voices of countless lives. You have my light now, Zaru said. Use it not to rule, but to heal. Outside, the city shook as corporate armies clashed. Drones filled the sky. Mira ran toward the chaos, her hands still glowing faintly. When she reached the city square, she lifted her hands and shouted, "Stop!" The soldiers laughed. Go home, girl. Then the light burst from her in a wave of silver energy spreading through every machine. Weapons froze mid-air. Drones shut down. Even the storm paused. People stared in shock as Mira stood surrounded by light, her voice calm and strong. We all bleed the same. We all dream. We all belong. Someone in the crowd whispered, It's happening again. The light of the ugly god. High above the planet, deep in the void, the stars flickered, as if something ancient had awakened. In the endless silence, a presence stirred, the same voice that once brought peace to galaxies. Well done, child, said Zaru's echo. The bridge between worlds has been rebuilt, not by gods, but by hearts brave enough to care. Years later, temples rose across human and alien worlds, not to worship, but to remember. At the center of each stood a statue of two beings, one human, one alien, standing side by side, their hands touching a single beam of light. People didn't call it religion. They called it the reminder. A message was carved in simple words beneath the statue, the last words Zaru spoke before he vanished. They once called me ugly. But now they see beauty was never in the face. It was always in the heart that chose to love anyway. Generations passed. Mira's story became legend just like Zaru's before her. Some said Zaru's spirit lived on, watching quietly from the stars, waiting for the day the galaxy would need him again. And sometimes, when a lonely traveler looked up at the night sky, they swore they could see a faint silver light moving between the constellations, as if someone was still out there, guiding, watching, protecting. Far away, in the endless dark of the cosmos, the light reappeared. A lone figure stood among the stars, tall, calm, glowing softly. It was Zaru. He looked at the worlds below, countless planets shining in peace, and smiled. Maybe they finally understood. He whispered,